Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week we have the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins first DLC, Trials of the Dragon King, which has just launched and immediately received backlash from players after they discovered that the new content can only be played on the new difficulty mode that was added with the DLC. This difficulty mode is now the hardest difficulty that you can play on, as the base game offers 4 difficulty levels including a story mode that's intended to let players breeze through battles, and an optional casual mode toggle that does things like automatically reviving fallen party members and letting you block what otherwise would be unblockable attacks. The difficulty tops out at Chaos mode, which is intended as a post-game challenge that you can only unlock after beating the main story. The Trials of the Dragon King DLC introduces a new difficulty level which is tougher than Chaos mode. Playing old missions on this new difficulty lets you get a currency which you need to unlock the DLC's handful of new stages, and since the difficulty also ups the maximum gear level, it seems that the new content is intended to give players who have exhausted the original game something fresh to do as they grind. But players who just want to experience the story that aren't interested in grinding for the best gear are understandably frustrated. One player took to Reddit to share his grievances by saying, "I really hope they change this soon, and I don't want to hear people just saying get good, because that isn't an option for anyone who's disabled or just doesn't have the skill, desire or time to grind the hardest content. I just want to casually enjoy the story and have fun killing things." Even the more experienced players who've gone through the difficulty grind to get the game's highest level gear are finding the new edition frustrating. The devs' attempt to rectify the situation was a patch that included a new mode for the higher difficulty levels. The patch notes state, "While certain rewards are restricted, Jack can take on missions in a permanently boosted state, making it easier to play through the new storyline in the Chaos difficulty mode." However, people are still having trouble getting through the DLC even with that new mode active. But also in the news we have Bruce Straley, the co-director of Last of Us and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, has announced a new studio called Wildflower Interactive. The studio's focus right now is aimed on recruiting developers, but the official site says that the studio is making smallish, creatively charged, uniquely stylized games that explore the possibilities of our medium. Another studio that's been created has been founded by Jerry Hook, one of the main architects for the original Xbox, who most recently worked on Halo Infinite. The new studio's mission is to create a new generation of narrative-driven action games with immersive worlds, and its founding members include Paul Crocker, who served as lead narrative director on the Batman Arkham trilogy, Greg Stone, who produced Doom 2016, and Steve Dyke, who worked on SSX and NBA Street and the Halo series. This studio is called Jar of Sparks, and it's currently in the early stages of forming its core team, which the studio hopes will provide ideas for its first project. But Jerry Hook estimates that the studio's first game is 3 to 4 years away. Over at Nintendo, they've announced that Oddworld Soulstorm will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. It will be optimized for the Switch to take advantage of the platform's unique features, and will also feature gameplay found on its other platforms. And right now, the publisher Microids are offering players the option to pre-order a limited or collector's edition of the game, but no release date has been confirmed yet, so do keep that in mind. While the limited edition features the game as well as a collectible case with 24 cartridge slots and 3 art prints, the collector's edition holds a lot more. Those who pre-order that one will have a unique collector's box which contains the game, the same collectible case with 24 cartridge slots, a 9-inch silver figurine of the protagonist. They'll also get a 160-page art book, a mining company keychain, 3 art prints, ancient Madukan tribal stickers, and Abe's hand tattoo. That tattoo is of course one of those temporary ones that you just stick to yourself. Now, if you have an abundance of time and patience, then this next challenge might be for you. All you have to do is achieve something that's never been done before in history, as Moist Critical is offering $20,000 to anyone who can achieve a full legendary all skulls on playthrough of Halo 2 without dying. And that means a max playthrough with almost every modifier activated. The only one you don't need activated is the Envy Skull, which replaces your torch with an active camouflage system. And there's not a single recorded instance of anyone completing a run like that without dying, and the original reward for the challenge was set for $5,000. But due to the sheer difficulty, he's decided to up the reward to $20,000 instead. So if you're interested in giving this nearly impossible challenge a go, then all I can say is good luck. Over at PlayStation, they have acquired Repeat.gg, which is a platform designed to make esports more accessible. It lets users compete in free and paid tournaments. The Vice President of Global Competitive Gaming at Sony Entertainment Interactive, Stephen Roberts, had this to say on the acquisition. At PlayStation, our vision for esports has always been about breaking down barriers for gamers to compete at all levels. Together with the talented Repeat.gg team, we're excited to explore more ways for the players to engage in its competitive gaming and expand our esports offerings. This is just the start of our journey, and we will look forward to sharing more updates with the community in the future. Repeat.gg CEO Aaron Fletcher also commented on the situation, saying, Repeat.gg was designed to enable new tournament formats that are easy to enter and scalable to millions of players. We're thrilled to join PlayStation team and work together to enhance the variety of tournament experiences gamers can enjoy, regardless of their skill level. Sony has also announced via Twitter that they've closed their acquisition deal with Bungie for $3.6 billion. With Bungie now set to fully integrate themselves with Sony's operations, both companies have confirmed that Destiny 2 will remain a fully cross-platform game going forward, so there's no need to worry about Destiny 2, although I would not be surprised if they did decide to make another game that is exclusive to the PlayStation. But Sony are also facing a potential lawsuit, as a new class action lawsuit has been brought against them by Christina Trejo in an Illinois court. She alleges that Sony knowingly hid the fact that the PS5 has a fault which causes frequent crashes and loss of in-game progress. She states that Sony knew about the defect through warranty repairs and online consumer complaints, and according to the complaint, the PS5 defect causes the console to suddenly shut off power whilst the user is playing a game, often leading to a loss of progress. Christina also stated in her complaint, while the PS5 can be used for many entertainment purposes, playing video games on the console is its primary function. The console defect affects the user's ability to play video games and compromises the primary function and overall usage of the PS5. She is suing for violations of the Illinois consumer laws, breach warranty, and unjust enrichment, and seeks certification of the class action, damage fees, costs, and a jury trial. Now, personally, I've had a PS5 for about a year now, and I've never had this issue whatsoever, never seen anyone complain about this issue, so I'm not sure where this issue's come from. Maybe she just had a faulty system. It happens. Who knows? But we'll see how this trial ends up, if it even gets taken to court in the first place. Also in the news, we have the Unity CEO John Riccitiello recently having an interview which received a lot of backlash for things that he said in regards to monetization within games. He was talking about how ill-considered payment models can tank what would otherwise be a successful game, and then in reference to the devs that don't want any kind of payment model inside their game, he said, it's a very small portion of the gaming industry that works that way, and some of these people are my favourite people in the world to fight with. They're the most beautiful and pure, brilliant people. They're also some of the biggest fucking idiots. This, of course, did not sit well with the dev community, particularly with indie devs, as many commented on the situation on Twitter, with one saying, I strongly disagree with John Riccitiello. What that scumbag doesn't realise is some people simply enjoy making games for fun, or to educate, or to share a thought, idea, or experience. Those creators and games are absolutely valid, and their process should not be condemned. Another dev posted, John Riccitiello thinks I'm an idiot. I think he's a greedy capitalist pig who only cares about money. I'm so tired of people like him ruining things I love. And another chimed in with, come on Game Dev Twitter, why are we pretending that we're only just now realising John Riccitiello is the evil CEO that he is? We've known this for decades. The dude ran EA. Do better. Now, John's immediate reaction to the backlash was, clickbait out of full context. Deeply sorry if what I said offended any game dev. Absolutely love the people that make games creative hard work. And then the very next day he decided to issue a longer apology where he said, to our friends in the Unity community, I owe you this. I want to talk about both what I said in the interview and my follow-up tweet. I'm going to start with an apology. My word choice was crude. I am sorry. I am listening and I will do better. What I can do, perhaps, is provide more on what I was thinking when I did the interview. What I would have said if I had taken greater care. First, I have great respect for the game developers. The work they do is amazing. The creativity can be incredible, whether on a AAA console, mobile or indie game designed to be played by millions, or a creative project, a game made just for the sheer joy of it. Second, one thing I have seen is that most game devs work incredibly hard and want people to play their game to enjoy it, and, when appropriate, for players to engage deeply. For the game devs I have worked most closely with, this is often anxiety about whether players will love the game and appreciate all the work and love that went into making it. Third, sometimes all a game developer wants is to have a handful of friends enjoy the game, art for art's sake, And art for friends. Others want the player to buy the game or the game items so they can make a living. Both of these motivations are noble. Fourth, what I was trying to say and clearly failed at saying is that there are better ways for game developers to get an early read on what players think of their game, to learn from their feedback, and if the developer wants to adjust the game based on this feedback, it's a choice to listen and act or just to listen. Again, both are very valid choices. If I had been smarter in choosing my words, I would have just said this. We are working to provide developers with tools so that they can better understand what players think, and it is up to them to act or not, based on this feedback. Anyway, that's it. Lots of words and a sentence that I wish I'd never said. And based on the replies to his apology, it didn't seem to go down well either. Some people pointing out the grammatical errors in his apology and saying that it felt very unprofessional and sloppy, or even rushed. We also have Ubisoft revealing that it has now halted development of Ghost Recon Frontline, which was a Battle Royale Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell VR, and 2 other projects that hadn't been announced yet. The decision to end the development of those games was made as Ubisoft focuses on achieving sizable cost optimization in the upcoming fiscal year, and that's according to Ubisoft's chief financial officer. They've also delayed Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which now has a rough 2023 to 2024 release window, and Ubisoft employees have also addressed why developers avoid communicating with fans where possible, especially around the launch of a new title. Joe Hobbs, the lead prop artist at Ubisoft Annecy, shared his thoughts as he said, "I've received death threats in the past over Division 2. It's unacceptable. The harassment that game developers receive is utterly disgusting, and I see it in the comments of most devs who say pretty much anything." He then goes on to suggest that if players want devs to be more open, it cannot be met with demands and threats when they do not make the decision to do those things, especially when such fans seem to be unaware of how games are actually made and which decisions certain roles are responsible for. Other developers responded to Joe to confirm that the comments and abuse from fans have driven them away from social media, and another Ubisoft developer wanted to add to the conversation whilst remaining anonymous, and they had this to say. "I know my team members check social media after launch, especially Reddit, and share feedback with the rest of the team, but I personally avoid everything related to games I work on, because I know that mentally I cannot deal with the amount of negativity just for some crumbs of nice things. It's hard to feel proud of my work and talk about it when my first reaction after telling gamers what I do is flinching, waiting for abuse. There are also people who think I'm their ticket to feedback to the company and keep sending me shit like, you should do this, change this, or make this game." And while these statements were unsurprising to me, it still doesn't justify the shit that they get on a regular basis. You should always just let them do their work and be patient, rather than harassing them on Twitter. But that just about does it for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed, please leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.